Our first Ignight speaker is a junior majoring in women and gender studies and social justice. She brings her talk, Acceptance Through Reflection, to the Mark stage. I think a few of you may know her. Let's hear it for Vanessa Gonzalez.
I stand before you a very happy person. And I have a lot to be happy for. I love my life, I love my friends, I even love my job. But that wasn't always the case. When I was little, I hated mirrors. I hated looking in them, I hated being near them. It was so bad that for me, a good day entailed of not seeing myself in the mirror. And the reason was, I hated myself. Whenever I looked in the mirror, I felt uncomfortable. I felt gross. I felt confused. I, a lot of times, felt like I was looking at somebody I didn't recognize. A lot of my life, I tried to figure out what this was. What was this mystery of the mirror, and why, whenever I walked by a piece of glass, I looked down. And I thought it had a lot to do with external things, how I looked, weight, things like that. But that wasn't it. It was something deeper. It was something I had to discover for myself and then have to work through. I had to figure it out. And for me, that process didn't start until I came to Rutgers. To be honest, I did not want to come here. My high school graduating class was 80. And then went from a class of 80 to a bus full of 80 was a little scary. But within my first semester, I fell in love. I fell in love with the size, the people, and ultimately the opportunities it gave me. And there was one opportunity specifically in my first semester that changed my life. It was meeting this person named Jay. Jay literally walked in. I felt like my world fell apart. They taught me things that I thought were so, there's no question. They showed me that things that we think to be true and solid, that's really not the case. They taught me that things are more complicated. People are complicated. And the world is not as always as it seems. But after hanging out with them and meeting them, I regressed into a very dark place. After meeting them, I started realizing a lot of things about myself and a lot of things that I felt shame and internalized growing up. After meeting them, I realized that I'm queer. Growing up, being attracted to multiple genders rather than just one was something that I felt a lot of shame for and confusion, because how do you explain that in this mono world? And I felt on top of the world. I was like, this is it. I got the mirror thing. I was making so many friends. I was so social. I even got a job at the Center for Social Justice Education and LGBT Communities. And I thought I solved it. But I didn't. Discovering that I was queer definitely got me to the mirror, but I still couldn't necessarily look at myself. I still found myself looking down. And I always wanted to know why. And I found it. It was something so deep inside me. It was something that scared me. God, it was so scary. It was something I had to find for myself, and I did. On December 19th, 2013, at exactly this time, I realized that I'm transgender. For me, that moment was the most liberating and terrifying of my entire life, because I knew things would change. And they did. I lost a lot of friends. My family has alienated me. My own mother even asked me to leave my house. And I thought that's where my story would end. But really, it's where my story begins. Next month is my 1 year since transitioning. And thank you. And for me, I've never been in a happier place in my life. And I'm not standing before you just because of a transition, just because of a coming out story. I'm coming to you as a complex person with multiple identities and intersecting experiences without which I wouldn't be Vanessa. I can now say on this stage proudly that I love myself. And I think being able to love ourselves is a revolutionary act. Back to the mirrors. I finally solved the mystery. I had to look inside. It was internal things I had to work on. I finally figured it out. Because now I can look in the mirror. I can walk right up to it, and I love what I see. Thank you.